Hello everyone, thank you for clicking the play button. You're listening to the Edgar Ortega radio show. My name is Edgar Ortega, your host, and this is the premiere episode of my new series titled The 209. And in the 209 playlist, you'll find my shows highlighting the people, places, and happenings and the culture that make up Northern California's Central Valley region in the 209 area code. I myself grew up in Tracy, California, graduated from Tracy High School. Later I ran off to college somewhere, and then I came back and I lived in Manteca for a while, then in Lathrop, and now firmly planted here in Stockton, California. We just moved here to Stockton earlier this year, and I must admit I thoroughly enjoy it here. Stockton is a great town, lots of things to do here, and here in the surrounding areas. This weekend we went up to Lodi to catch a show put on by the folks at Lodi Community Theater. They did a really great production of Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, that old Andrew Lloyd Webber play. Musical, it was really great. That was lots of fun. Also, one of the things I like about Stockton is I discovered Flip's Burgers over there. And wow, some of the best burgers I've had in a long time. They also have great milkshakes. If you want to check out a great place to get burgers and shakes, go to Flip's Burgers in Stockton. I recommend that. If you're living or doing something of worth in the 209 area code, I'd like to hear about it, and perhaps I'll feature you on the program. I'm looking forward to meeting lots of interesting people in doing this series and showing a lot of good that's being done by people in this area. Also, today is no exception. My guest today will be talking about their group and programs they run, helping lost pets in the 209 reunite with their owners. I myself have experienced the efficiency of their program. It's a really interesting program using, I guess it's a network of tens of thousands of people that they use to get your pets home to you. And they also have other great programs that they run, and they'll tell us about that in just a minute. But before we get to that, I'd like to invite everyone listening to go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just hit that subscribe button. It is much appreciated. Also, go ahead and like and follow the Edgar Ortega Radio Show page on Facebook, and follow me on Instagram as well. I'll provide the links to those in the video description for easy access for you guys. Also, as always, I'd like to encourage everyone to support their local pet shelters and their local animal rescue programs. Your money is far more utilized locally than by donating to, say, TV commercials like the ad you'll see for the Humane Society of the United States. They actually use less than 1% of your donations to help shelter animals, if you can believe that. It's unfortunate. If you give locally, they use 100%. 100% of your money goes towards helping animals. So give wisely. Donate to local shelters, not TV commercials. That's my advice to you guys. And since we're on the topic now of helping animals, let's go now to my guests here to tell us about the work they're doing to help pets in the 209. 3, 2, 1. All right, when it comes to members of the family, it's always an enormous stress and heartache when the beloved family pet gets out and gets lost. Often people go searching the neighborhood, talking to neighbors, putting up signs of their lost pet, and doing everything they think they can do. But still, there's no sign of their lost dog or cat, and this creates deep feelings of helplessness, guilt, sadness, worry, and fear, not knowing if you'll ever see your pet again. But now, at least in the 209 community, there's another highly effective avenue of hope through social media. Linda Dashnow and Dara are here with me today, and they, along with others, run Lost and Found Pets 209 group on Facebook, as well as other groups helping reunite lost pets with their owners. Linda and Dara, it's great to have you on. Thanks for being here.
Well, it's great being here. Thank you for having us.
No, it's great. I mean, I've seen your group before. I've used it before. I'll tell you more about that, but I wanted to tell more people about it. You guys got a great group going, reuniting pets with their owners. Now, let me talk about the roles in the group. Linda, you're one of the founders, and Dara, you're the president of the nonprofit. Is that correct? Tell me a little bit about both your roles in the group.
Well, mine is to make sure that we have the right people in the right positions so that we can run the group effectively and that we keep stress levels down and politics out, and it's all about the dogs and the cats to make sure that they get the best exposure that we can give them and to get them reunited with their owner.
Oh, good.
And my role as the president of the 501, I have a vice president, Debbie Newton, and I also have a secretary, Kelly Elvis Flores, who helped me with organizing microchip events, organizing search and rescue, doing some rescuing, and also we are admins along with others on the page, and so we are actively searching for dogs on the page, helping members that are frantically searching, or sometimes there's members who have found a dog and have no idea what to do. So we take an active role in working with the community to help them, and also giving the pets a voice by microchipping.
Oh, that's very cool. So you do a number of things, not just with the group there. Now, Dart, tell us how the Lost and Found Pets 209 group works. You guys have other groups, so let me talk about that one for a little bit. How does it work? So do you post the animals on there, and the people come to you and you post them, or can anybody post on there?
Actually, we are a group, so we are Lost and Found Pets 209 on Facebook, and it's an open group as that you can view all posts, but if you want to make a post or make a comment, you have to actually ask for membership into our group. Of course, it's free, it's Facebook, but we do kind of review your profile and make sure that you live within the area and that, you know, you're not a bot on the computer and you're not going to, you know, be rude. And then once you have membership onto our group, then you're allowed to post and comment. So that's how 99% of it's done, is they will post themselves because they actually either are missing a dog or have found a dog or cat, or actually any kind of animal, because we've reunited horses, we've reunited all kinds of things.
I was going to say, do you work with, have anybody posted any birds or reptiles on there? But you said horses. Horses get out too, huh?
Oh, yeah. We've had goats, llamas, lizards, birds, ferrets.
All right. So basically the way it works, you get on the group there, and once you're accepted, members of the 209 community, you know, Tracy, Stockton, Manteca, Lathrop, Lodi, that area, and, right, and those surrounding areas. So you say you found a dog, you could put a picture up there, and somebody looking for their dog may have already put their, you know, notice up there that they lost a dog. Kind of like back in the day when you'd put up posters or put a ad out in the paper. You know, it's a lot slower process. But the neat thing about the social media is pretty immediate, isn't it?
It's very immediate, and the other great thing that we didn't realize would happen too is people share our posts, so they actually are shared to friends of friends on other people's pages that may not want to be on our page but have seen the pet or know somebody that found it or know somebody that's missing that dog, and they'll say, hey, that's my friend Johnny's dog, and all of a sudden it's like Johnny makes contact with Trisha, who makes contact with so-and-so, and it's like 3 people later the dog is home.
Right. No, that's great. I want to talk more about that group. Now, Linda, what made you come up with this idea to create a group on Facebook to help people find their lost pets? I mean, it's a great idea, and it seems like you guys are getting lots of members on there. But what made you start this?
Well, first of all, I kept noticing a person's name when I went on Facebook to see. It was one of the groomers that had told me, have you gone on Facebook? Have you posted that you found this dog to see if maybe you can find the owner? And I said, no, I wasn't aware of these types of sites. So I learned, and I got on there by, you know, typing in lost dogs and seeing what came up, and realized that there's a large community out there of people helping. And so one of the people that I kept seeing, their name was Stephanie Phillips, and her and I talked back and forth on Messenger about there's got to be a better organized way to help, because it appears to be political. It appears to be, it's just friends. They didn't want to share information. This was about the dog. It wasn't about human beings. This was just getting that pet home, whatever type of pet it was. and finding the owner, having a happy story. So we decided that we needed to start something that we believed in, which was helping all pets, whether it's, as Dara said, a llama, a horse, a lizard, a bird. It made no difference. We wanted to help animals, and that was our passion. It was not about egos.
Well, it's cool, and at the same time, I mean, you are helping people because you're reuniting them with the owners as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. We're taking their stress level way down. But it was the animal that we had our first concern, and we tried to keep everything else out. So on July 31st, after meeting Stephanie on the 5th day of July on Facebook for the first time, we decided to start a group. That group has grown by literally a pretty much of an average of 250 to 300 members per week.
Wow.
We currently have, well, we should break 33,000 members by Friday. We've reunited approximately, I figured it up the other night, and it seems to be 10,212 animals. And I say that as a generality because it's not just dogs or cats. It is horses. It is the other things as well that are our family pets. So it has made a difference in the community because just looking 2 years ago, I was looking at how many animals were lost and posted on the site. And then how many animals are posted daily now on the site. You can see a drastic difference.
Yeah, absolutely, especially with so many people joining. I mean, that's a great thing about it. You're creating this huge network of people, and the idea that everybody's kind of connected to somebody through a certain amount of degrees, 5 or 6 degrees of separation. You know, somebody knows somebody who knows somebody who lost the dog, and that gets around, especially when people share it. And then the numbers of people that are seeing that lost pet, it just goes through the roof.
Well, you have people that are sharing, but they're talking also to their aunt, their uncle, who are not on Facebook.
Right.
They're still looking up the newspaper. And the newspaper is not as effective as it used to be. So they're slowly helping to bring the elderly community, I think, on board to the social media.
Oh, no, that is really cool. I mean, back in the day when you lost your dog, you'd put up the signs like we said, or you'd take an ad in the paper. Now, of course, that takes a couple days to get in there, and by that time you may have found the dog or not, or, it might be too late for the animal, unfortunately. But the neat thing about the social media part of it is that now you can put it up there, and then you can say, hey, I recognize that dog, and, in 1 minute you can have found the owners of the dog. It's pretty amazing.
And we still do encourage those quote-unquote old school tactics to find your pets, because signs in the neighborhood and
of course,
for walking around and talking to your neighbors and those other things, it brings the community back together. And signs are wonderful, to actually get the pets home. So we give anybody who's lost or found an animal, we give them tips too on our site of what to do next. What are the biggest.
A lot of people might get used to using the social media, and they're not used to interacting with humans. So that might be stuff they never even thought of in this generation.
And one of the tips that we give, one of the first tips we give if you've lost your pet, is to actually put their bedding outside, because cats and dogs have wonderful senses of smells, and they may have took off and been wandering the neighborhood, and they're like, uh-oh, I need home. And they can actually, oftentimes smell where their home's at if their bedding's put outside. And people need to feel that they're doing something when they lost a pet. They need to feel that they're actually actively searching and taking measures to try to find that animal, because they're frantic. And with the site, we help them with that too, because there's 14 of us who are admins who at any time can get messages from members, and they may just need somebody to talk to listen, that it wasn't their fault the fence blew open, or the dog ran out, or the cat's an indoor-outdoor cat. They want some comfort and we help with that too. So
right, and through it, you're like you said, this network idea and the model of it. You're creating all these people that can be out there looking for your dog too. I mean, you could have gone out there and this could be your last resort. People are out there looking for hours for their dog, looking all night. And at the same time, you know, you've got all these people that can see the ad and everything. So it's really cool. You guys have, I mean, estimated 10,000 animals. That's amazing. You say a horse got reunited, or was there more than one horse? You said.
Oh yeah, we've had a lot of horses get loose from gates or
that happens
like that. And you know, one of the spinoffs that we didn't realize that we were doing is we're actually helping the shelters too, because people are, if they have an outlet, if they found an animal, they have an outlet of knowing that maybe within the next 24 hours they can hold this dog and they may get home. We've seen, you know, a decrease in the number of animals who actually go in the shelter too, because they give them an option.
No, absolutely. I mean, this group is quite popular, as you said. How many members you say you have? Over 30,000?
Oh, yes. We're going to be hitting probably 33,000 by this Friday.
And growing daily. I mean, I have to say that I've used this group I mentioned earlier a number of times. I worked as a veterinary technician in the area for 12 years, and often the staff members would bring in lost dogs that we'd keep there until we found them. Either the shelter was going to come pick them up, or sometimes we'd just keep them there. The place was equipped with boarding facility, so we could accommodate that. And myself and other members of the staff would upload photos to the group of the dogs to the Lost and Found Pets 209 group, and the animals were often reunited with the owners. They say, oh, the dog's at the vet hospital over there, go pick it up there. So I can tell you that it works.
Great.
Yeah. I'm sure the two of you have your own stories of helping people find their animals. I mean, you mentioned a horse, but are there any stories out there that you've seen as a result of these groups? I'm sure you have a few that stick out to you. I'm sure you have some sad ones too, but tell us some of the happy ones. I don't want to bum anybody out today. Either you have some stories.
I think the story that sticks in all of our minds, because it happened probably about 6 months ago, but it took an army of people to make it happen. And that was a truck driver came into Flag City, and he had a passenger with him. And when he opened up the door at Flag City, his small little dog jumped out. Well, he waited for 3 days, and he called, and he searched the vineyards, and he did everything he could to find his dog, because he lived in Sarasota, Florida.
Oh, this was in the paper, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Lulu. And Lulu was blind in one eye. Lulu had the wherewithal to stay out of the big truck's way or off the freeway, even though we know for a fact for 3 weeks the dog crossed Highway 12 every day.
Oh, wow.
So anyway, we had a group that went out there. We put food. We searched different ways. I even found for the first time a drone person who was willing to come to Lodi and go up and down the vineyards to see if we could see where this dog was. We were not successful with that, but it did give me an idea of how we can best use drones and be able to help more animals get home. But finally, it took another truck driver to pull in, and he had a little dog. And we asked him, he says, you know, we're sitting out here, we're trying to coax this dog. See, he's right there on the edge of the grapevines. And the guy says, well, let me see what I can do. And so he got his little dog, and he went close enough, and he kept a hold of his dog because he didn't want to. It was a strange place, but that dog was just jumping up and down and carrying on, and it brought Lulu out of the vineyards.
with the dog.
We went over to the car, and one of the admins, she just opened up the car door and opened up the other one and went out the door, and he put the little dog in the car, and that Lulu jumped right in the car.
All right, and then eventually reunited.
Yep.
Oh, it's very cool. I mean,
we flew the dog home.
Oh, did you guys pay for it?
Yes, we did.
Oh, wow. So, I mean, you guys take donations. You guys are a nonprofit, and is this kind of where some of the money goes? What happens when people donate?
So we are a nonprofit 501c, so all donations are tax deductible. But what we use the money for is we purchase microchips, and we have microchip clinics. We also help the community with some low-cost spay and neutering. And then when we have dogs such as Lulu, where we need to get them home because they've been rescued, we have and will pay for that, but it's a case-by-case basis. Our main focus is microchipping and spay and neutering because we want to help the community to make it healthier and keep those numbers of, you know, unreunited pets low. And also the spay and neuter is huge with our group.
Right. So you're attacking it from all angles. I mean, you have the Facebook group. Of course, you got that network working. But of course, if the dog's picked up by the shelter or somebody, or they don't pick it, or they don't necessarily check the group, if the dog is microchipped or the cat, then it's easy to get them back home that way. So you guys are providing a way to do that, right? Do you have like vouchers, or do you have some kind of program for discounted discounted microchips?
With the spay and neuter, we have had a wonderful vet by Fremont Veterinarian on Fremont Street here in Stockton has agreed to reduce the prices for spay and neutering for our members only. So what we have going is a list where they email us. They have to be a member, obviously, of our group. So then they'll email us with the name of their pet and some other particulars. And then I send the list once a week to the veterinarian, and then the owners contact them and make appointments. And it is a pretty substantial discount. It's probably the lowest in San Joaquin County besides other programs that are just like grant programs.
Right.
We have no grants.
And we have no grants. The vet is doing this out of the kindness of his heart, and he's wonderful and works in the community too. So
right, and then the microchipping goes in with that?
So we do the microchipping. The vet will do the microchipping. He has some of our microchips down there, but about once every 3 months, we have local microchipping events. We just had one this last weekend in Lockford at one of the groomers there, and we actually microchip pets for a low cost fee of $8. And then we also go one step beyond that. We register the microchips with using the owner's information, and then they have access to their account, because oftentimes just microchipping alone doesn't get the pet home, but actually registering it. And it's a free lifetime registration database that we use. So for $8, your pet has a voice and you have an account, and you can go in there at any time and change your information and things like that.
Right, that's really great. I mean, some places, like if you take it to the vet to get microchipped, you might pay $40 or more, $35, $40 to get the animal chipped. And if they don't register, you could get the pet chipped, and if you don't register it, they've got no reference. I've got a rescue cat here, and he's got a microchip, but nobody ever registered him, so there's no information to the original owners or anything like that. So you got to make sure if you take your pet to the vet, make sure they register it for you, or you take the information that they give you. Usually it's a website or something, either the Home Again or the Avid Chip company, however, and they'll tell you how to register the chip number to you can put in your address and everything, your phone number. That way when the dog's picked up or the cat, they'll contact you. But you guys do that for them, and you chip them, and it's all $8, and you do all for them. That's great.
Well, and the reason is that we feel that strongly. We don't want time to get away from you, and all of a sudden it's not done. The animal has a voice. The moment it's registered, it does not have a voice. It means nothing that it was chipped if it's not registered. Yeah,
you got to register. So if you get a chip, you got to ask if it's been registered. If not, you got to go home and do it right away. I mean, as soon as you do it, and you'll have the number and everything, the website. It's usually pretty easy. Just get on the internet and chip it, or after they chip it, and you just put in all the info. It's pretty easy, but you guys do that for them, so that's great.
Yes. And, and we've seen, our local shelter, Stockton Shelter, only has a 3-day hold period if an animal comes in unchipped. That means the owner has 72 hours to, 1, find the shelter, and 2, to actually claim their lost pet if it doesn't have a chip. And that's not a lot of time. I know when I take vacation, I'm gone a week to 2. So, you know, if they go in and they have a chip, they're going to try to get the animal back to you, and they actually have a longer hold time for animals that are chipped.
No, that's a good thing you mentioned. You know, a lot of times, like you said, people will go on vacation. They might have a house sitter that comes in, checks on the pets and stuff like that, but you know, just might forget the door left open or something. So oftentimes that's right at the beginning when you leave for vacation, they might get out or something like that. So if you have the chip in there, that buys you some more time as well. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, it does, and it also buys them a way to get home. We actually, as part of our group, have purchased microchip scanners for several community members. One being a Mel lady. She's instrumental in finding lost pets, and she now carries one of the scanners so she can scan the pets, and if they're chipped, get them home quicker. That's the whole goal, is to get them home quicker and to give them a voice, you know, of finding their owner.
Right. No, that's really good. Did you say you got a lizard home? Is that what you said?
So, it actually, the lizard, I think it's still missing to this day.
Oh, okay. But they put it up, you know. I know iguanas get out often and they end up flying through the trees and they can't find them.
Yeah, and I think, you know, with the lizard particular, it was in a rural area in Tracy, and it was a pretty big lizard. But it still gave the owner hope, you know, that he had people to talk to that understood, and a little bit less guilt on the owner's part that something happened that he could have prevented, because animals are animals. They want to go roam. I don't care if they're a lizard or a horse. They want to go.
Yeah, and sometimes if they're a lizard, they go up. You know, the cats might climb up a tree, but the lizard sometimes might climb it. I've heard of iguanas getting out, and, you know, weeks later they're found, you know, on the other side of the block, up in a tree somewhere, you know, and they can go unnoticed up there for a long time. So, you know, if you lose a lizard, you could post it on there. If you lose a bird, and by the way, you can microchip those animals too. You can microchip your pet snake, I think your birds too. Lizards, all that stuff can be microchipped. A lot of people didn't know about the snakes being microchipped, but a lot of people have expensive reptile pets, you know, they pay a lot of money for, then they get out, or they get stolen, you know, something like that. That can happen. Dogs get stolen out of backyards all the time. That's a good way to make sure that's your animal.
And if you have an animal microchip to you, it's kind of like a car registration. It's proof of ownership. Pet ownership is considered personal property. And, you know, if you have a microchip and somebody steals your dog, or even the good-meaning neighbor who sees the little dog running down the street and saves it from, you know, a near probably death, and doesn't know how to find its home, and then you're walking down the street and you see your dog. This isn't your dog for several months. No, that dog's microchipped to me, and it's a way of proving ownership.
Right, and I want to tell people, when they do get their animals microchipped, usually they give you a little tag to put on the dog's collar. I don't know what kind of chip do you guys use?
So we use nano chips. We actually don't have the little.
Oh, they don't have them.
The little tag that goes on the chip that's normally, or on the collar, that's normally like Avid and Home Again.
Home Again, yeah. But if you guys go to the vet and get them chipped, usually it's Avid or Home Again. They will give you that little tag. So if
but we do give them the actual microchip number, a little sticker that has the actual microchip number on them and all of our information. And I actually personally keep every single registration form that has been filled out to the 1,500 animals that we've so far microchipped. And so even if records are lost in the wonderful world of computer, I have everything hard copied still.
Oh, that's good. So you have the paper copies.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's
There's a couple of things that are really quite interesting. The 2 worst days that we do not look forward to is New Year's Day and July the 5th.
The day after, all the fireworks, all the people shooting guns and the firecrackers and stuff.
That's correct. It is the worst, most terrifying day for all animals. And no matter, even if you think your fence is secure, really having them in the house and calm and giving them, you know, when you're going to be gone and you can't watch them, being outside is just a terrific thing. We probably have 600 postings just that week following those 2 days, it's just unbelievable.
Right, with all the noise, it startles them, and they might just run. They get out of there and they run because they're scared.
They'll break down the fence.
Yeah.
And they'll break the door too.
Yeah.
I mean,
So it's important to just know those 2 days and to do whatever you need to do to keep them safe.
Yeah, you can bring them inside. I mean, oftentimes the veterinarian will offer you some medication that'll help calm them down a bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I know that we made a difference because the Stockton shelter has called and spoken that, it has seen a decrease in numbers that they've had there. And then you have people who just think that puppies are the only way to go. And then they have spikes of unwanted dogs. So if we can get everyone together to have their dog microchipped, everyone be spay or neuter, we can make a huge difference. And because nothing's worse than to see an animal hurt in the middle of the road.
That's great. You guys doing lots of work to help animals get back to their homes. You do a lot of stuff with the group, and of course the microchipping, and you help with that. And it looks like you offer some real cheap resources for people to do that. I was going to say, whenever people are out there, they're listening to this, if they find a lost dog or pet, the first thing they might not think to do is to check it for a microchip, but you can go down to a vet or the shelter, and one of the things they'll do is they'll wave the little wand around it, and if it doesn't have a collar, and they'll check for a chip. So I mean, you can look on there, you can see if there's a dog that's been lost or something that you might have found, but you take it to the shelter or the vet, and they'll scan it for you, and they'll be able to contact the owner. So that's one of the things you can do if you find an animal, and that's probably one of the quickest things. If it's not chipped, your chances go down a bit, but they can always post it on the Lost and Found Pets 209 group. That's really good. Now, you guys run a few other groups, too. Tell me about that. See, I think you do Central Paws Adoption. Is that you guys?
Yes, sir.
Well, what's different about that group from the Lost and Found group?
So Central Paws, oftentimes what happens is dogs, for whatever reason, aren't wanted to be returned. Dogs and cats don't go back to the original owner for whatever reason, or they're just community dogs. And people hold them for what we recommend 30 days, trying diligently to find the owners. And then after 30 days, maybe the animal just isn't what fits in their lifestyle. They can post the animal on Central Paws adoption site looking for a new forever home. We also, some of the rescues and some of the shelters will post their dogs up there too. It's basically a site where adoption takes place. We do not promote selling of animals, and it's adoption only. We highly promote spay and neutering and microchipping of all the animals on Central Paws as the rehoming fee. We do require a rehoming fee because we fully believe that pets who are given away to free can be harmed and ill will done to them. So that's what Central Paws is. It's really for the lost and found pets that didn't get back home to find new forever homes, and the rescues to promote their animals too.
All right, that's good. So you have a place to have the owners go and find their lost pets, or if there's a pet that never found its home or that needs a home, there's a Central Paws Adoption group as well. And you have an information group as well. I think it's a Pets 101 and Rescue. Is that right?
Yes, we have Pets 101 and Rescue, and basically what that one is all these are really spin-offs of Lost and Found Pets, because Lost and Found Pets is strictly for Lost and Found Pets only.
Right, you don't want to clutter it up with a bunch of questions and other things that we might miss. Somebody could be scrolling. You might post your pet, and then 10 posts later, it's all the way at the bottom of the post. People don't get to see it.
And we really wanted to help the community, and so we made Pets 101 for questions and answers about pets. And also, Lost and Found Pets is only for secured lost or found pets. And what that means is if you see a dog running down the street and you can't catch it or don't have time or whatever the circumstances, and you take a picture, we actually suggest you put it on Pets 101 and Rescue, because we have a lot of rescues and community members that may live in that neighborhood or may be willing to go out and search for the pet. We have a lot of animals. We have one currently named Angel that was posted on Pets 101. Young lady had seen it in the fields of Thornton for months, and then she finally saw it, and it had like a broken leg, and then she saw it a couple weeks later, and the leg was really bad, and she posted on Pets 101 for help. And so we went out and actually were able to rescue Angel and get her the medical care she needs. And she's going to be going up for adoption here pretty soon. And that's what Pets 101. And also, oftentimes, just like kids, pets get sick or acting weird in the middle of the night. And people will post questions about, you know, my dog's licking obsessively on their paws. Is that normal? And members who have experienced this, they'll say something on there or give them support. But we always do recommend, if it's anything medical, the first advice, go to your vet or a vet, because nobody on there are vets.
You'll get all sorts of interesting advice.
Exactly. Yeah, we've heard a lot of interesting advice. And we monitor it. And it's also for our rescue groups that need help with fostering or need help with transporting dogs. They use that site.
It reminded me when I was working at the vet hospital, a lot of times we'll argue with the veterinarian, but my breeder said this. Let's say, well, he's a veterinarian. I trust him. No, it's good. So that's the rescue part of the Pets 101 and rescues. The Pets 101, is that for information and stuff like that? Or is it people ask questions about
it? Dog food recommendation, vet recommendation.
Right.
Yeah, just general information, training information.
Edgar, I think that you said it correctly. It's for everything unless it's a secured, lost, or found dog.
All right. Right, very good. So people can ask questions about their cats. Like you said, mention their diet, about, unless it's a veterinary thing, you guys would recommend them out to a vet, of course, but it's pretty much anything. It's just not...
It's a catch-all. It's a catch-all, so we can help as many people as possible because they don't know where to go, and try to give them a rescue or a veterinarian. And we'll list several veterinarians that are in that particular town.
Right, man, you guys got the bases all covered. The dog got lost, you found it, now it needs some medical help. And you guys have, I assume you refer people to veterinarians, and then people can ask questions about other things on the Pets 101 rescue group. Yeah, go ahead, you were about to say something?
And then we have the other group, which is Felines 209, which is another spin-off of Lost and Found.
Especially for the cat people.
Yes, it's especially for the cat people because cats have different needs.
Now all your other groups, they say, is adoptions, is Central Paws Adoptions, Pets 101, and Rescue. It's pretty straightforward. Felines 209 is, what's that about? I mean, it doesn't say anything specific. It's just, here's my cat. Look at my cat.
Felines 209, cats are free roaming animals, and so they have a different set of kind of rules when it comes to lost and found. They kind of some live in your community who have owners. They're indoor outdoor friendly cats. Also, cats 90% of the time have their babies outside, and so what was happening on Lost and Found Pets is people were finding litters because mom's out hunting for food. And so what they would do is they would post it, I'm looking for the owners of this litter of kittens. Us knowing that the owner of the litter of kittens is probably a community cat, we were getting inundated at this time of year with just litters. And so we wanted to give, quote unquote, cat people, which I'm one, a voice of their own so that they can ask questions on there. They can look for fosters. They can learn how to bottle feed. They can rehome. They can, search for their pet search for their cat specifically on Felines 209.
My cat got out the other day. I think we went to the grocery store or something, and we shut the door behind him. He kind of ducked under the bush near the front door. And normally we don't let him out. He doesn't really want to go outside. He's kind of scared. He kind of crawls like an army man if he goes out there, and then he runs back in the door. But we closed the door on him, and what must have happened. And we were gone, maybe an hour. We came back, and we just hear meowing. And what's that? And he was, I guess he was just kind of cowered down next to the bush right next to the front door. So he never went anywhere. He is not really an outdoor cat. So he was out there for an hour just waiting for us to get home. Then he ran right back in the house.
Yeah, but can you imagine if there was a firework right then?
Yeah, he might have jet off and not know how to get back or something like that. Yeah. I mean, there's lots of outdoor cats. I recommend people keep them inside if they can. I've just seen so much, at the vet hospital. I mean, there's diseases out there from other, if they get into cat fights and stuff like that. I'd recommend people keep them indoors if they can help it at all.
Well, in Lodi, there actually is a leash law.
There's a leash law on cats in Lodi?
Yes, there is.
Oh, I like that. Oh, it's good. A lot of times they'll get out, stuff. There's cars and stuff. They get scared.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And a lot of times with the feral populations, they don't live the best lives out there with the disease and everything like this. So,
but we do our best to try to help them, and we take out food, and we get donations of food, and we make a little homes for them so they have some shelter when the bad weather comes, until they can at least live out their days.
So you've got everything covered, like I said a number of times here. You get pets back to their owners. You get pets to new owners, to new homes. You answer questions, or your community of people with moderators and things. You help answer pet questions about food or anything that they might want to ask, and talk about rescue. And then you have a specific one just for the cat people. And they can post questions on there too, I assume. It's kind of an all-cat thing too, except for the rescue stuff. Or except for the lost cat thing.
Well, you can post your lost cat on there too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's pretty much a catch-all for anything felines, 209.
Right, and your Lost and Found Pets 209, that's your most popular one. How many people are in your other groups?
I honestly...
Well, I can look it up right now. Here's Central Paws.
I saw one had 7,000.
Yeah, Central Paws adoption site has about 4,500 members. Pets 101 has about 7,600 members.
Yeah, I mean, and likely they're all part of the original Lost and Found Pets 209 group. I mean, that's a huge number. I mean, people, that's about 90% of the Tracy population before I went off to college. I grew up there. I mean, those people are dispersed throughout the 209 area, and we're not a very big area. I mean, there's Tracy, there's Stockton, Manteca, Lathrop, Lodi, those kind of surrounding areas. So that's a lot of people. So it's like having all these friends in the different cities looking out for you, looking for the animals, and they kind of talk to each other. So it's really great, this program you've set up. I always admire people that don't just go about their lives, for themselves. It seems that too few people are actively out there doing something to benefit their communities. So I admire and respect the work that the two of you and everybody else, I mean, there's lots of people involved with these groups, but you guys agreed to talk with me today. And I admire people that do this stuff. Oftentimes, people get caught up in the routine. They go to work, they come home, and they either crash in front of the TV or they go out, to entertain themselves. And, that's fine. You got to get out and do stuff every now and then. But it's certainly a big plus for humanity when we take time out to do good things to better the world around us, our communities. And the two of you are doing just that. Usually people like you keep pretty busy. I'm curious, what do you two do when you're not running these great groups?
Well, I'm retired. I retired after 40 years of being in finance. So I was not looking for anything to do because I'm a garden lady. But, the love of animals draws you in. And when you see that you can change something and make it better, and they have a stronger chance to getting home, I had to be a part of that. So it's been a little trial and error on what works and what doesn't, and coming up with rules. Didn't want any rules, but needed some. And finding the right people. And like I said, Stephanie Phillips, who and I, the two of us just connected on Facebook and said, we can do this better because it's not about them. It's about the pet. So that's how it came to be. And from there, we now have 16 other people that help run it. And it requires that so that we can answer the questions, so we can give tips, so that we can make sure we only have one posting per person, because the deletions alone, because you're scared, you're missing your pet, you post on there 6 times because you think it's going to be seen more often. And actually it's not. It clogs up the system. Facebook is not as fast as what we wish it would be. So we actually opened up a website called same thing, Lost and Found Pets 209. people don't want to leave Facebook to go on the website. But it is another tool that we wanted to give people to help find their animals. What's the longest that a dog or a cat has been reunited? I can tell you right now that it was 6 years.
6 years that went home as a result of your group? What's the story on that one?
Oh, this happened at the very first year that we were in, kind of started this. And I just know that it was one of those things that they had never given up hope. But ultimately, the cat was within like 2 miles from that house. And it was found.
6 years older. Was it at somebody's house or just that kind of living outside now?
It was at somebody else's house, but it went in to be chipped. See, it went in for a problem and it was scanned. See, I think it's wonderful that the veterinarians are forced, every time they go in, they are scanned to make sure it is that owner's animal. I think it should be required of every groomer to do the same thing. If you have those people all scanning, that also helps to lower the, raise the chances of finding the owner, I think, because they should keep the dog until the owner is found.
Very good. Well, if we tell people microchip their dogs, we should tell people that find dogs, checking for microchips might not be the first thing they think about.
That's the very first thing on our tips.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Oh, good.
And make a difference, because even Philip Zimmerman from the Stockton shelter has called me personally on a couple occasions saying you are making a difference.
No, it's great. It's great. It helps you keep going, keeps you motivated, and of course the stories of people being reunited with their pets, that helps you guys out. Linda, was that Linda I was talking to, retired?
Yes.
Okay, and Dara, what do you do when you're not helping animals find their homes again?
So my full-time job is I'm a social worker, and then I am a mom to a beautiful teenage daughter and 2 wonderful sons.
So you help people too?
Yes.
in another kind of a setting?
Yes, I do.
That's very good. And the both of you have pets of your own?
Both of our animals have increased on this adventure.
I bet. I mean, did you end up taking any through this rescue? I've done some rescue with reptiles and exotic stuff, and every now and then, you end up keeping some stuff if you don't,
well, now
or you don't
have
find
a
it home.
resource to call you.
Yeah. No, actually, the Central Valley Herpetological Society is here in Manteca, Stockton, in this area. So they do a lot of work. They do the same thing you guys are doing. They help find homes for those kind of animals, too. Those are pets. We encourage pet ownership of all types, within reason. And so if you want to get with the Central Valley Herpetological Society, you can get their information down. They can help you with the often less loved animals, the reptiles that a lot of people care about, and we may not know they're around, but there's people that care just about those animals. People care about their birds, people love their snakes and lizards and stuff like that just as much as they love their dogs and cats. So
I have all.
So you guys also provide, resources for people if they have questions about this or that. You guys refer them. You can refer them to a veterinarian, place to get chipped, information about food and stuff like that. I'm sure you recommend pet store, stuff like that. So it's another resource for you guys, I guess.
Yes, and we make wonderful connections. We can't do it without the community and the resource support. Oh, yeah. We make wonderful connections with the rescues, and we make wonderful connections with the local vets, and just different resources for people, because you don't know what's out there. And truthfully and honestly, we could not do this without the support of our admin teams, our other board members, and the community at large, because lots of people help us without being an admin or without being part of the board. They jump on board. They want to help. They go out and do rescues. We have lots of partners that just are wonderful, and we could not do it without the community support.
And we have no names of many people that just jump in the car because that dog is lost in their area, and they jump in the car and go looking for it. And then all of a sudden we see a post saying, hey, I just drove up and down for the last hour and a half on these 3 streets, and I just got it. It's a wonderful, we all get to share in knowing that dog is going to spend its night at home with the owner.
Right. No, it's good to keep up on the stories. A lot of times people will post the picture of their dog they lost, and then they'll find it, but they won't necessarily update anybody. So you guys do follow up with that, so you can take stuff off of there that doesn't need to be there as well. That's some work that your moderators and such would do.
Yeah, our admins are wonderful for that. The site is constantly in motion. There's constantly one of us, 14 to 16, are in the background figuring out follow-ups, making frames, trying to connect
Posting
dogs.
tips.
We also take every day, we take the new intakes from the Stockton shelter, and we actually post them. And we take the Lodi ones and we actually post them. We take the Stanislaus ones and actually post them so that maybe we can make a match, because sometimes people can't get down to the shelter or don't know how to navigate the shelter sites.
Or their friend sees the dog on the site and calls and said, "That's my neighbor's dog," or "That's my brother's dog," and they live in another town.
Right. Linda and you started this group along with some other people, and Dara, you're running the 501c3. It's great work you guys are doing. I appreciate you coming to talk about it. Hopefully we'll get more people on your site. So the more eyes, the better for helping out. You guys are like an army of animal finders.
Yes.
So you guys do great work. I really appreciate you talking with me today. And I hope more people get on there and check out your pages. There's, of course, the Lost and Found Pets 209. That's with the main group. And then there's Central Paws Adoptions, Pets 101 and Rescue, and Felines 209. If you're in the 209 area, Tracy, Manteca, Stockton, Lathrop, those areas, go ahead and join on there and be part of the network. And join Linda and Dara and everybody else working on the group to keep it going. And it's well moderated, it sounds like. Go ahead and join on there. It's great work you guys are doing.
And don't forget, we're a 501c, so we do...
Yeah, where can people donate if they wanted to?
They can actually go to our website, which is Lost and Found Pets 209.com, and we have a PayPal link there. All donations are tax deductible. You will get a receipt immediately, and your donations help with microchippings and spay and neutering.
All right, so the donations help get pets back home to their owners. And some people that may not be able to afford that sort of thing will be able to do that too. We'll go ahead and post a link to the website as well as the Facebook groups in the description of this video once it's on. And hopefully we'll get more people to hear this and hear about your group. Thank you, ladies, for talking to me.
Thank you very much, Edgar.
No, I'm great that we can get this information out there to people. You guys have a good day.
You too. Thank you.
All right, a big thank you to Linda and Dara for coming on the show and to share the work they do. I was more than happy to feature Lost and Found Pets 209 group as well as their other groups. I'll provide the links to those and their website in the video description of this video. This has been the first in the 209 series. You'll be able to find all the videos in this series on a playlist at my YouTube channel, so be sure to subscribe and you'll be able to catch each of my shows about the 209 and other topics as well. Again, if you know somebody who we should feature on the 209 here on the Edgar Ortega Radio Show, leave a comment or message me on Facebook. Also, if you're doing anything interesting yourself in the area or want to promote a big event, get a hold of me. Please share this video and get it out to everyone out there. Give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment. Until next time, my name is Edgar Ortega, and you've been listening to the Edgar Ortega Radio Show on the 209.